Hey guys, it's Brian with Gold Arrow Fitness, and right now we're going to go over a recipe for butternut squash soup. I got my butternut squash. First thing I'm going to want to do is preheat the oven to 400 degrees. So you really just want to be careful while you're doing this. You know, have a good sharp knife, and then that kind of gives me like a flat surface to rest the squash on. Going to get rid of all the seeds in here. Alright, so once you got your squash cleaned out, you got all the seeds out, what you're going to do now is just put it on a baking sheet. I typically cover my baking sheets with tin foil and then put a little like either spray on it or just lightly oil it just so it doesn't stick to it. And we're just going to put these face down so the skin is facing up. Alright, along with the squash, you're going to want to bake an onion as well. So, just going to add that onto the baking sheet with the squash. This is a white onion. Alright, perfect timing. The timer just went off. It's been preheated. So we're just going to put these onions on this slightly oiled cookie sheet. We're going to put it in the 400 degree oven for an hour, and then we'll check back in after that's done. You might want to let it cool. I'm just going to brave it for the sake of time, but you definitely don't want to burn yourself. Peeler thing, it's just a typical vegetable peeler. We're just going to hang onto it with a fork, and the skin should come off pretty easy because it's cooked and all that. So now once you've gotten the skin off the squash, we're going to want to weigh the squash so we can count the calories. This technique can be used to count any calories in any dish. You just add up all the calories that go into it and then divide by the number of servings you get out of it. Alright, so we got 770 grams of squash. That's cooked squash. And then for the onion, we're just going to count it as a large white onion. Alright, so we got our 770 grams of butternut squash. We'll do our large white onion. The recipe also calls for an apple. So I'm just going to add an apple into it. Just got my handy little apple slicer here. Okay, now we're going to add some vegetable stock. How much stock you add is going to depend on how much squash you have. So I'm just going to measure this out so I can count my calories, and then I'll make a note of that. So alright, so I just added 4 cups of veggie stock. So I'm going to note that here in my recipe. I'm just going to take a knife and just kind of mash this squash up. Probably should have maybe cut it in a couple more pieces before I put it in. Wasn't really thinking, not a huge deal though. Alright, so the last thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of nutmeg. Put my top on. I'm going to set it on low for 8 hours, and then when I wake up, I'll blend it and have some soup. Alright guys, it's 8 hours later the next morning, and the squash soup has sat in the crock pot overnight, and looks like it's done here. And now I just got to blend it up with the immersion blender. If you don't have one of these, or you've never heard of these are awesome, because typically to blend soup you have to pour it into like a traditional blender and then pour it back into the bowl or wherever you're keeping it. But this makes it really simple. I can do everything right in the crock pot. So it just has, it's kind of like a little wand. It just has a tip on here, and then you press a button, and then this inner part does the blending. So I'm just going to blend up the soup. So kind of what I'm going to have to do at first here is I just push down the stuff into the bottom, and then I hit the button to blend it. I like to add a little bit of cayenne pepper to this, just to give it a little bit of heat. That's your own personal preference. One thing I just recently picked up is one of these green funnels. They're made for mason jars. They fit a different couple sizes of jars. I try to stick with the wide mouth jars because I'll usually just throw the jar in the microwave and eat right out of it. Alright, so there you have it. This batch made 5 mason jars of soup. These are 2-cup mason jars, so you get 10 cups of soup. If you want to make a bigger batch, just double up everything. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Is it impossible to achieve your fitness goals? Have you tried and failed over and over again? Don't feel bad. Millions of people can relate, but what most don't realize is that the main reason for this is the inability to change behavior, and that's why Gold Arrow has introduced fitness consulting. What is fitness consulting? It's having professional guidance through one of the most difficult endeavors that you will attempt. Consultants are more than just coaches and give you much more than just a plan. They provide knowledge, support, and techniques to get you through the barriers that have held you back. An app called Lose It is the key tool that connects you to your fitness consultant, making sure you are never alone. If you're serious about finally breaking through barriers and living out your vision, go to goldarrowfitness.com and click on Fitness Consulting. In the meantime, subscribe to Gold Arrow Fitness on YouTube for free content, workouts, recipes, and fitness tips. There's no better time than right now to start living your vision that you have for yourself. Join Gold Arrow Fitness and take the first step to a healthier you.